third and final section of Chapter 2 notes, solving systems of inequalities by graphing. So back to graphing we go. So this is what we're talking about right here in this box, actually. So if you see some inequality signs, so basically we got to graph them. So you can't pull out the substitution method or elimination method this time. All right, so basically what we want to do is we want to graph the two just like they would be equal problems. So in other words, we're going to ignore the greater than and less than signs at first, and we're going to graph them. So just to point out to you which one's which here, I'm going to put a big dot. For this guy, the y-intercept's -1, which means it would have been right here. So for future reference, that's that line. Let's go blue with the other one. So this guy right here has a y-intercept of 2, and that must be that guy right there. So just so long as you know which one is which. All right, so if you recall, once you've done slope-intercept form and already have those two lines obviously on the screen for you, it would just be a matter of shading it. So let's look at this guy down here. Let me go with gray. So this guy says greater than. And if I'm doing greater than, then that means that I want to shade above the line. So keep in mind that was the one with the red dot. So if I want to go above this line, what happened to my shade thing here? I don't understand what's going on. So I'm just trying to highlight here, guys. Yeah, not sure what that's about. Anyhow, so there we go. So that would be to shade above that one. And then the other one, that one I'm going to do in blue. That would be this guy right here that we're talking about. So that says less than, which means I want to shade below. So that's the one with the blue dot. And if I shade it below that line, oh, interesting. I have no idea what that is. Okay. So I don't know what happened to my highlighter here. I have to fix that a little bit. So anyway, it's as simple as this. So where did the two shades overlap? Well, let me go back to this. Not up here in this section, we don't have anything. Down here in this section, all we have is the blue line. Up here in this section, all we have is the gray line. So over here in this right corner is where both overlapped. So one of two things, guys, as far as answering these. A lot of math teachers will make you go back and erase. So they'll say, hey, we can't have any excess over here, so get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. I'm okay with you just coloring it in. So to indicate which one is the proper area, we just color it in. All right, now, believe it or not, and if you've been thinking there's something wrong with this drawing, then good job, congratulations, you're paying attention. Because it actually does say somewhere down here, oh, here we go, what was incorrect on the graph we just finished. So I did it on purpose to see if you were paying attention. So the line with the red dot, there's an equal to underneath there, and we were supposed to know that we draw solid lines for those guys. But the one with the blue dot, it did not have an equal to, and that was supposed to be a dashed line. So let me real quickly make a weak attempt at dashing this just to correct the situation. And if you picked that up the first time on your own, good job. But again, easily fixed with a pencil and eraser, not this crazy thing that I'm using. All right, moving on. So I gave you the two graphs on that one. Let's try doing one that actually has no graphs to start with. All right, well, simple as slope-intercept form. This first one has a y-intercept of -5. I see a slope of 2/1, so up 2/1. Notice my line will tilt to the right when I'm done with it. All right, so unlike the last drawing, let's pause and think about it. Am I supposed to be making a solid line or a dashed line for that guy? No equal sign, I got to have a dashed line. And unfortunately, Screencastify does not give me a dashed line option. So there you go. That's my best attempt at a straight dashed line. Now, you can wait to shade these to the end if you want, or you can shade them as you go. It just doesn't matter to me. So let's try this highlighter thing again. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's find out. All right, so this guy, oh, there it goes. It says greater than. So greater than means shade above. So I'm going to go ahead and shade above. I'm not going to put too many of these in there because we want to see where those two shades overlap. So if all we were doing was doing, not a system of inequalities, but just a single inequality, that'd be it. We'd be done. But I got to do them both. So bottom equation, I see a y-intercept of 1. I see a slope of -4, so this guy should tilt to the left when I'm done with him. 1, 2, 3, 4 down over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go up and over as well. Just make sure that he is tilted to the left when you're done with it. All right, guys, here's the question. Solid or dashed? Well, it's got an equal to underneath, so it's got to be solid. Let's make it official and put the arrows on the end. All right, we're going to shade it. Well, that one's less than. So where would that guy get shaded? He would get shaded underneath that blue line. So be careful, underneath. And if you're ever unsure, you can just like pick a dot. I'll pick this middle dot here. And underneath means I got to go straight down. So I'm just going straight down underneath. So again, the question is, where do they overlap? Well, there's nothing over here, clear over here on the right. All I got is the gray line here. Down in this little triangle down here, I have no idea why the color just changed. All I had was the one feature. That is so weird. Anyhow, where do they overlap? Well, I hope that you can tell. And let's go ahead and choose a different color. Let's make it dark. That it overlaps over here on the left side. So really all I need you to do is darken in the side where they overlap. And that's it. So the shaded region is the answer to the question. All right, number 2. So both, and again, these all have y by itself, at least the first couple, so you might have to get y by itself. Top one, only a y. Please tell me you've committed this to memory by now. If it's only a y, it's got to be a horizontal line. So I don't see an equal to, so I'm going dashed. And greater than would mean shade above. So let's try the gray again and see how this goes. So shade above. There we go. All right, other equation. Y-intercept of -1. Slope of 2/3 up to over 3. I could go down to over 3. Keep in mind, it just has to tilt to the right when I'm done with it. No equal sign with that one either. So I got another dash line. And this guy is also greater than, so also gets shaded above. So above my blue line. You can make these go any which way you want. It doesn't really matter. But again, the most important part is, where do they overlap? So real careful here. Clear down. I don't know if you can see clear down this little tiny corner right here. So I only have the blue line down there. So I do want to be careful, and I want to kind of make sure that, hey, I'm going above, and this is where the two shades overlap all the way through there. So color it in nice and dark, and that tells me that you know where the overlapping shaded region was. And we got it. All right, so hopefully this isn't too bad. So I'm going to save the rest of these guys for part 2. But before we get going, or before I wrap this up, just want to point out to you, because again, this drives me crazy. What's unique about this bottom one over here? Has an absolute value symbol. And what shape does an absolute value graph make? It makes a V shape. Look over at number 3. Do you see any absolute value symbols? No. Therefore, there will be no V shapes, nothing but straight lines. Let's look at number 5 real quick. No absolute value, no absolute value, no absolute value. So I will have nothing but straight lines, no V's. So number 3 up here, or number 4, sorry, will be the only one with a V. All right, folks, need to see the V-shaped graph or one that has 3, like this bonus round problem down at the bottom, then stay tuned for part 2 video. In the meantime, thanks for watching part 1.